Hang on,
Roll.
here we go.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Absent. Mr. Landwehr.
I am present.
Mr. Olson. Mr. Valanick. Mr. Cowley.
Here.
Ms. Burnett. Here. And myself. All please rise for the pledge of allegiance led by Mr. Cowley.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda was posted throughout the district according to school board policy, published as a legal and in the Superior Telegram, posted on the district webpage, and sent to the WNXR radio station for announcement. Meeting notice was sent to the connection publication. Approval of the March 8th tonight's agenda, open and executive session. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Mr. Cowley, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda. Item 4A is approval of the February 12th, 2024 regular board meeting minutes, open session. And B is the treasurer's report. Mr. Landry.
A summary of the treasurer's report as of February 29th, 2024, general fund. General account on February 29th, 2024, there was a balance of $5,426,249.94 in cash and investments. Receipts since the 1st of March and not included in the February 29th balance are $42,292.95, and disbursements from tonight's March 18th board meeting total $30,824.42. The flexible spending account on February 29th, 2024, there was a balance of $24,269.98 in cash and investments. The health reimbursement account on February 29th, 2024, there was a balance of $6,333.12 in cash and investments. The debt service fund on February 29th, 2024, there was a balance of $673.90 in cash and investments, and a more detailed report on fund activity is included for your review in the financial statements.
Thank you. The payment of invoices, every board member has a chance to look at those locally and contact Mr. Cotter if you have any questions. And then item D is resignations, retirements, and employment. Mr. Moore.
Yeah, we have a few here, resignations. Caitlin Rohr, speech and language pathologist, will be resigning effective at the conclusion of the 2023-24 school year. Morgan Paulson, choir music teacher at NHS and NMS, will be resigning at the conclusion of the 2023-24 school year. Whitney McKersher, early childhood paraeducator, has resigned effective March 15, 2024. And Penny Lavin, Iron River Elementary / District Administrative Assistant. Those are our resignations. For employment, we're looking at Brian Smith, Northwestern High School Principal, Athletic and Activities Director. Mr. Smith has 9 years of administrative experience with the district. Claudia Androsky, fourth grade teacher at Northwestern Elementary School for the 2023-2024 school year. Ms. Androsky completed her Bachelor of Science at UW Superior in Elementary Education and a minor in Instructional Pedagogy. And Nathaniel Ullman for the 7th grade Math and Science position at Northwestern Middle School for the 2024-25 school year. Nate will graduate in May with a math education major from UW Superior and is working toward his science certificate. He also student taught at the middle school. And then Ron Cairns, bus driver to replace Dean Kemp, who resigned in December. He has completed his training and received his license this week. All of these are recommendations for approval.
Okay. And we need a motion to to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And we need a second.
I'd also like to say that it's nice to see we're growing our own.
There we go. Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda approved. Okay, item 5, the guidance department.
Is that our cue?
That's your cue.
You like
You come
to pack
forward.
the house.
Come on up.
Sorry. Alright. Well, thanks for having us. We're the, school counseling team here at the school district. And it's one of our goals every year to come before the board and just share with you, I guess, the state of how our students are doing, overall mental health, some of the work that we have done. Also, the main purpose today for me especially was to share with you the results of our youth risk behavior survey. If you were with us last year, you might have seen, remember I shared our results from the high school and the middle school. And then a little history with that is we've done the YRBS for years, every 2 years. And then during COVID, it kind of came to a halt. Just, I guess, wasn't the priority, and we didn't take that survey for like 3 years. So then the state had us survey the kids, and I had come to you and shared some of the results. And honestly, across the whole state, they were so alarming about the state of our students' mental health that Wisconsin was national news. It was all over the news how kids in Wisconsin were doing. It was probably one of the first pieces of data post-COVID of like where our kids are at, and it was alarming. So the state came to us and said, "Can you please survey your kids again?" It was optional, but we decided to opt in. So we surveyed 9th through 12th grade at the high school. The middle school also did the survey. We received our results probably 6 weeks ago, but the middle school still hasn't received theirs. So we were hoping by tonight we would have them, but we don't. When we do, though, we can share some of those results with you with our quarterly board updates. So if you, I had made a little chart for you in your board packets that lists some of the key questions. This survey, the results are about 150 pages long, so I could flood you with data, but I tried to pick some of the key points, especially the ones that we had talked about last time we came before the board. And so the key things that we highlighted were anxiety and depression. So what I did was I pulled our data from the 21-22 school year survey, and it gives you an overall percentage of how our kids are feeling, and then it breaks it down by male and female, and then by grade. So in that first question, you'll see under anxiety, depression, and self-harm, the survey asked students 2 questions about whether they were experiencing significant problems due to anxiety or prolonged sadness. And students reported that they had experienced significant problems with anxiety in the past 12 months. That percentage went up from 42% of our students feeling that way to 48% in 2023 when we surveyed. That's 68% of our female population. So we were hoping, obviously, that those numbers would go down. And I think part of why we're not getting middle school results yet is because the state is compiling this information and they're really trying to figure out some guidance on how to help us help students. If you look at the next questions about self-reported depression, students who experience prolonged or disruptive sadness in the last year, that's went from 30% to 36% of our students and 46% of our females. So that's alarming for myself and Marissa here as we look at when we look around the halls and we think that 46% of our girls are feeling depressed or anxious, that's a big number to know how to take care of throughout the school day.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
If you were looking at trends, so how it says 9th and 10th grade each year, so like if you wanted to follow the same class year to year, would it be the 10th grade?
Yeah,
like,
so
if you're looking at
ninth
ninth
would
graders.
be, if you look at that anxiety number, like ninth grade was 41%, and they went to 51%.
Got it. Okay, but I wanted to make sure that I was tracking.
The next page talks about suicidal thoughts and behavior, and you can see the numbers there for students who had seriously considered suicide in the past 12 months, went from 14% to 16%. And students who had actually created a suicide plan is around 12%, which, you know, for us, that's around 45 students in high school. And there's a couple there's so much information, guys, but there's a few things that I just thought were really key. And you can see there's some numbers about students living with family members with mental illness. And I think that really speaks to not just our high school students, this is a snapshot of the high school, but it really follows the trend of what they're seeing at the elementary school and middle school too, as far as the needs of our families and the needs of our students. This is always really interesting to me, the number of kids who are on their phones from midnight to 5 a.m. on school nights. It's almost half of our student body. Report using their phones. So that when we talk about the effects of social media and students' mental health and screen use, they all contribute to the issue. Another big one that we have seen an uptick in is food insecurity. If anyone's been to the grocery store lately, you know how much it costs to fill your cart, and families are feeling that. So, you know, we had at high school alone 17%, which is about 70 high school students who experienced being hungry due to lack of resources. And at the time we surveyed was in the past 30 days. And I think about that, and I think of our high schoolers, many of them are driving and have a job and have access to things, where our younger students who are at home who don't have access to resources, they can't go to the Dollar General themselves, or maybe be earning a paycheck to be able to do that. So to me, this information is really important for you to know just what we're seeing for kids and their needs when they walk through the door. And we meet as a team every month to try to discuss some of these needs and ways we can support our staff and our kids and our families. At our last in-service, we led a suicide prevention training to any of our staff who hadn't received it the last time we did it. We got our mental health grant a few years ago, and we were able to get trained as trainers, and we've been trying to use that training to continue to train our staff and we invited our peers, and so our new teachers to be able to see signs of people who are contemplating or struggling with suicidal thoughts and what to do about that. You haven't had a chance to meet Marissa, but she can talk to you a little bit about some of the work that she's been able to help me with.
Yeah, so I specifically hired as a 9th grade transitions coordinator. I do have 11 years as a 4K through 12 school counselor. So working with specifically 9th grade is really awesome. And then I do have those skills to work with anyone that comes into the counseling office. If Ms. Kroll's busy, I can meet with them right away. So working with 9th graders specifically who are struggling with academics and then maybe attendance issues and trying to figure out what's the link there. And I also surveyed all the 9th graders at the semester to see, are they feeling connected to the building? Do they have staff members that they can go to if they have a problem? And then from that data, linking up with those kids that were kind of red flags. And then from that list, seeing of those kids, who is mental health a concern for? So really being able to target into supporting students individually, and just so they have another face that they're familiar with. We always know that people don't connect with everyone. So having 2 people that they can go to is really a benefit at the high school.
Especially time-wise, you know, we're coming tomorrow or state testing. As we enter those seasons, and I'm fully involved with scheduling and testing and scholarships, it becomes, those are all really important tasks that take a lot of time and energy. And as kids have needs, there's another person there to help support them because you can't be everywhere all the time. Another thing Marissa didn't mention, but I'm going to, is that we have a lot of students who are using community resources like Amber Wing, which is a day treatment facility, and Millard Lawn, which is students might use if they are in danger of hurting themselves. So we have kids who are transitioning in and out of those programs all the time. So that's another thing that she's able to do, is to meet with them regularly. So when they come back to school, they have support and communication with the teachers so that they can have time to focus on themselves and not fall behind in school.
And even while they're there, emailing with them to see how it's going so that they still feel connected to someone at school while they're away.
We do still offer school-based mental health services. We have 2 groups that we work with, or 2 clinics, right? SOAR, and we work with Lake Superior Community Health Center. Unfortunately, Lake Superior Community Health Center, our therapist has resigned, so we lost that service here this month at the high school, and they don't have another counselor that they can send to us, which is another problem in Douglas County, is just the lack of resources. They have 1 therapist on staff now, and they just are spread too thin to be able to send someone out to high school. But we do have a lot of students who go to different clinics that we will provide space for and time away from class to see, have virtual appointments if they need during the school day.
All right. Well, like Brina said, well, I'm Erica Kaufman. I'm the middle school counselor. Ari and I both serve students at the middle school. So just to speak to what Brina said about the YRBS, the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, I have not received the results yet, but typically our results align pretty closely with the high school. It'd be kind of great if they didn't, but then that'd be a whole other conundrum, but typically they do align pretty closely with the trends that we see there. So just a quick update on our school-based mental health. We have 22 students that are currently seeing school-based mental health professionals at our school. That is through SOAR services, like the high school. I think they have a small amount of services from SOAR, and then we also have a counselor from North Lakes Clinic in Iron River that comes over. And we are just able now to add a half a day. Ari will speak to this a little bit too. A half a day with SOAR. They have an intern that's going to be coming over. And I already have students to fill those spots when they come. I would say students admitted to Amber Wing and other inpatient facilities. I've never seen on such a regular basis students coming and going from, I used to think or say to have a student once every couple of years, at least at the middle school level, that I would have a student be up at Amber Wing. I would say we almost always have at least 1 or 2 students at Amber Wing. And with Millard Lawn, for the first time, I'm seeing students being sent to Eau Claire, and that, as far away as Eau Claire because we don't have beds at Millard Lawn, and if they need immediate attention, they're sent to other places. Backpack numbers, again, the program for backpacks serves students with food at the middle school. Probably one of the highest number of years I've seen, and typically we have students that will back out after so many months. I haven't had students back out this year. They are asking for it, wanted, taking it home. I spoke to the YRBS status.
So I'm Cara Heitel, I'm a counselor at the elementary school. Ari Jago is at middle school, also at the elementary school, and serves the students in Iron River. So we don't have YRBS data at the elementary school, but we do have something called the Savers, which is basically a social emotional screening tool. It is a teacher rating scale in kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. It is also a teacher rating scale in 3rd through 5th grade, but there is also a student self-assessment tool along with that. Just like in the other buildings, we're seeing an increase in students in that high risk and some risk category, increase in anxiety, those self-regulation, coping skills. When we get the results back from those screeners, which we do in the fall and the winter, Ari and I we meet with the teaching teams to really prioritize those students having additional supports in place outside of the regular education classroom. So that may come in the form of individual meetings with one of us. We put together small groups based upon student need to hone in on those specific skills where we're seeing issues. It might be on a more consistent, like a daily check-in or check-out basis. We also have currently 25 students from our high school that come over and participate in a mentoring program. So they are matched up with students at the elementary level and see them once a week. So just an additional person in place for them. We also have North Lakes and SOAR services that come in. We have 25 students at Northwestern Elementary and 7 at Iron River that are receiving those school-based mental health services from those outside providers that come in addition to a large number of our students receiving outside services. We also are seeing a number of students at Amberwing, at Millard Lawn, and just are really seeing an increase in those numbers with those mental health needs.
Yeah, and with the North Lakes and SOAR being filled at Iron River specifically, we have just SOAR that goes there. Not North Lakes does not attend there. But due to them being full, we have, like Erica had mentioned, with the intern, she will be starting this week attending all 3, the middle school and then the 2 elementary schools, and she's filling up as well. Brina mentioned that with 17% of food insecurity, I know that Erica mentioned with the Second Harvest Backpack Program that she's seeing an all-time high in that, and we are as well, with a total number between the 2 schools of 26 kids that receive bags to take home with them.
So just thinking about, I mean, obviously all levels, but meeting the basic needs of our kids is becoming obviously more and more important. And so looking at those connections, safety, being able to, the best way to build resiliency in our kids obviously is having those connections and relationships, not only with us, but with other trusted adults. And really at the elementary level, we look at those early interventions really being key to helping them be successful, not only at the elementary school, but in the future.
And even partnering with community members and places as well to meet those basic needs that we have, that we see an increased number throughout the year as kids get more comfortable being able to share that that's what they need.
We really do have an amazing community. We've partnered with a few groups who like to contribute quietly. You know, they don't want a lot of attention for it, but they have helped us to provide extra food when we have longer breaks, like over Thanksgiving or just over spring break. We have additional resources to be able to fill their bags with some more food than they, because they won't be getting their school breakfast and lunch while they're out of school on those weeks off. So that's like a real blessing to our kids in our district to be able to provide that extra food for them as well. So overall, we just wanted you to know some of the work that we're doing and where our kids are at, mainly to share the new data that we have, and I know that mental health has been a board goal for a long time, so it's important for you guys to know where our kids and families are at, and we're going to continue working hard and doing everything we can to meet their needs, and we just appreciate all your support because you've always been really supportive of our team and the work we do. So do you guys have any questions for us about the data?
Sorry. In all of these questionnaires that you asked the kids, was there anything to ask how they're coping with it? What are they using as a research? Because my next question is there a question to ask on drug, alcohol use?
It talks about vaping, it talks about marijuana, nicotine use.
Because a lot of times that's a coping mechanism,
Yep.
I guess, because I didn't see any of that on here, I'm not sure if that was asked, which is why. Are you seeing similar percentages, unfortunately?
Yes, I would say we've seen an increase in that. I think one thing that would be really interesting to know that we don't is if at the middle school level, if it's starting earlier, you know, or if as access to those things have gotten easier. But yeah, I would say I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, like you said, I could share the survey with you guys if you really want to see all the data, because like you said, it's 150 pages, but it's broken down by category from anything of seatbelt use to drinking to if they're eating their vegetables.
On that website, you have,
But
I looked, all the questions are on. The high school has like 50 questions answered, middle school is like half of them.
yeah,
You can
and
see,
but
it all
we,
kind of relates, like you're
and we
saying.
have data for all of it, I just didn't know how much to overwhelm you with.
Some of the questions
There's
are kind of
data
interesting.
about school connectedness and
We can
connectedness
pick
at home.
sometimes we don't do all of them.
You're kind of focused on the mental health piece. That is connected, all of it's connected. I mean,
Yeah,
that's why-
right.
That's why it's at-risk behavior survey.
Because you see, I mean, I was hoping at some point you would see these numbers decrease. I mean, I think there's only so long you can blame everything on COVID, but there's definitely lasting effects of that. These are- I have two more questions.
It's all right, ask away.
The outside services, therapists and stuff, how, when they were coming to our facilities through all of the schools, how often is that? And how long during the day is that?
They're in our buildings, like 1 day a week, like so Source Services is at the elementary school, a full day a week.
A full day.
North Lakes Clinic is there a full day, same
Not
at
to be true
at the middle school, it's different days. And then,
And Iron River is just half of the day.
So you get half a day once a week in Iron River,
Yes.
and you get 2 full days between 2 different providers at the elementary school at any year. And at the middle school,
And now we're sort of adding a half a day, so 2.5 days we have school-based mental health starting this Thursday. We'll have that
For a
extra
full
half a
day.
day. Yeah.
We had a day and a half, but our therapist just lost. her.
but you were utilizing a day and a half. Is that enough?
it's never enough, like there's always, I shouldn't say always, typically we grow throughout the year, but there's a way, we're full in all of the buildings. And so really a bigger issue is some of these outside services are willing to, they would like to give us more time, but they don't have the manpower either. They are short on resources as well to put people into.
So for,
Students, that's gonna.
well, for Iron River, we only are able to have a half a day because of her schedule. So she's full because she can only do half a morning.
But if the opportunity presented itself, are you saying that a half day is not enough, you would utilize more?
With the intern that we have, I will quickly fill her. If that
In your
answers your question.
Which then leads to my final
I
question.
think real quick though, it's important to note that we are a site.
That's
Essentially, these aren't
It
direct
just-
services.
it's
We're a branch
Barriers.
office, we're considered a branch office.
So like for younger kids who can't drive themselves to an appointment, if mom or dad work in Superior Duluth, to come out, pick them up and then bring them back to town, it becomes a real burden, whereas if they can have their appointment at school, it increases access to their
Right.
kids.
But there's still then the parents will have to go through their insurance, which becomes another hurdle for men and me as well. Once you give them the referral and say, hey, we have this, then it's, oh, well, I can't afford that.
We're really limited to services that can come in, that can cover Badger, the bill, they can take Badger fines, otherwise it's pretty hard to have.
So are all of those services limited to people on Badger?
No, they're not, but I mean, that's,
We want them to
we
be
wouldn't
able to
have,
accept that.
But then leads to I think my final question is, you're right, board goals has been for the last number of years, mental health and making sure that there's appropriate staff as best we can. What are your opinions on that? I mean, 6 years ago, there was 3 standing in front of us and now there's 5, so. There's never enough, I get it, but.
well, I would say 6 years ago, at least at the middle school, 6 or more years ago, the counselor wasn't teaching a class, and now the counselor's teaching a class, so that's a block of my day. that I'm teaching as opposed to, and I know that's part of that's preventative, right? Or intervention preventative. But it's certainly a little bit, that part is different than it used to be.
I look at the numbers and you see that they're continuing to rise, right? And a lot of the times, one student can take a lot of time. And if you still have the testing and the scheduling and the classroom stuff, you have that one student that you're that person keeping them alive, which a lot of times these ladies are. You can't say, okay, I need to send you away, right? If you're their person. So yes, there's been an increase in counselors, there's an increase in the mental health demand. I mean, it's really tough. But if we think about the term guidance department, it's evolved to school counselors because we're supporting so much more than just academics and more than career planning, which it was. We were just talking this morning about what our relationships were like with the guidance department at our schools.
If I could,
I don't want to come across as like I'm in disagreement with this. That's not where I sit, so.
in a perfect world, I don't know if you remember in August, the person who was in Marissa's position resigned.
Yep.
So it took us a while to rehire, and that ended up being part-time, and that could go back to full-time. That would be amazing at the school. Because mental health is a big part of what I do, but I have a lot of other pretty big responsibilities when it comes to doing the scheduling and the college credits and all the state testing, which is in the AP testing and the scholarships and all the transcripts for grading things. So there are times where I kind of have to shut down and take care of other really important things, and that's hard because the needs don't stop.
I think it would be difficult to look at the numbers and think that she can do it all by herself. And she's amazing.
No, and I guess I didn't want to get on necessarily. I know last August we had the resignation and we had talked about what we do at that point. I know there were conversations in and around that. And there's been conversations about other things as well. Some behind closed doors, some not. But I just am just trying to, from a board goal perspective, where when the door does close and those conversations need to happen, what conversations?
And we are grateful. We appreciate this part. And obviously, seeing this team grow from what it has been in the past is exciting for us, just because anytime thinking about being able to meet those needs in a more immediate manner is obviously a big deal for our kids.
Do you have any expectation? I'm sorry. Do you have any expectation as to when you'll see those results from the middle school?
I don't, but they even asked me, like, did I get like an email saying like, sorry they're late, they're coming soon, but it's like, crickets so far.
I would assume that's fair enough to say that you would forward those to us when we see.
I certainly can, or we can pull what we think is the most relevant and send it for sure. To me, it's super disappointing. It's because they asked us to do it 2 years in a row so that we could make a difference or to see, and here we are almost finishing the school year, and it's pretty disappointing, but,
Do you have a question?
I do have a question. When they give you these results, do they ever cross-reference them with any other, like, Douglas County, like adults?
Yeah.
And is it pretty corollary?
So there'll be countywide data. That's also, we don't have that yet, so you can see where our kids compare it to the county, and then there's statewide data as well. So those results haven't all come out yet. But the county resources use this data a lot for grant writing.
That was my next question.
Services that help our kids. So that's why it's important that we always participate.
Yes. Next question is kind of related to that community partnership, and are there like who looks at grants? Like, and I know there's the community health needs assessments and stuff that happen that healthcare entities and other community partners are a part of. The city of Superior is a part of. Like, where do we fit in all of? Do you guys work with those community health needs partners?
Yeah, last year we wrote a mental health grant that we received 2 years ago for $75,000, and we spent a lot of time on the grant, and then the state said, we're not gonna give anyone the grant, we're just gonna give everyone a little money, which ended up being significantly less money than we could receive from the grant, which was super frustrating after you wrote it, because they're not easy to write.
Yeah.
And I know we were hoping for it and counting on it. But we try to partner with any of those community resources that want to work with us. But sometimes you are faced with leaving a building for meetings that don't feel as important as the immediate needs in the building.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's always this tug and pull of can we leave?
So when I asked about grants, are you guys the grant writing team?
Depends what it's for.
The mental health grant, you guys write your mental health grant?
We write it as a team, like
Yeah,
Dr.
and
Coney wrote the
administrators
grant.
have been part of
Sorry,
it.
I'm part of that. We try to team on as much as we can because, especially if the grant's including writing for a position, we can't. It's, when grants become available, Cody lets us know usually. Sometimes he says this needs to be written and then get a team together. to
Just
work
open
on
the
it.
door, you gotta walk through it.
All right, we don't want to take up any more of your time, but thank you so much for having us.
Good job, ladies.
Approval items, item 6. Request for inter-district transfer from Iron River Elementary School to Northwestern Elementary.
Yeah, we have, I believe we have, who's our guest? Come on up. This is Justin and Leanne Kaiser. They're requesting, their child, Cooper Kaiser, is it Kaiser?
Yes.
Yes. Making sure. They are requesting, their child Cooper Kaiser to attend Northwestern Elementary School rather than Iron River Elementary School. The request in the rationale are enclosed in the board packets, but I will do the floor.
Sounds great. We both live in Iron River and we both work in Duluth. He starts work at 7, I start at 7:30, and neither of us are readily available at home prior to 5 p.m. at the earliest. Our child currently goes to daycare in Poplar, and she has the school bus coming and going for the elementary school already, and we'd like to continue with him going to his daycare provider, where he's comfortable, where his friends are, where he's easy for him to get on and off the bus. She's there before and after we're available to pick him up or be available at home. So that would certainly relieve our hardship there, and since he'll be attending middle school and high school here, it just seems like it would be it would solve all of our work issues and childcare issues for him to continue there.
I'm working with it.
Yes. Yes.
I would assume that transportation has been discussed, knowing that you're dropping him off and getting picked up at daycare, but when he gets, I have to imagine that daycare at some point leads out of that.
Right, yeah. Beyond elementary school, then obviously, then he's within the school district to then take the bus, and if he's not old enough to be at home, then we do have neighbors that can assist with that. But as far as transporting him to and from daycare or to and from school, they can't drive him to school, but we can get him to daycare on time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think just make sure that I understand the policy correctly is if you decide to stop sending him to before school and after school daycare, in 3rd grade as an example, we're not busing it to Iron River.
No, we didn't have that expectation
Yeah,
for
okay.
elementary school, correct.
That'd be the impression I had. So, numbers are good though? Would we able to do that?
The numbers of the
Numbers at Iron River right now are 2. What are our numbers at NES?
29. We're early in the 4K process, right?
Is this 4K, is this kindergarten?
Right, just in kindergarten.
So you're for kindergarten. Okay,
No. So we'd be looking for motion to approve this.
Make a motion to approve the inter-district transfer of Cooper, right?
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. And opposed? Motion carried.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Item 6B, request from Charlie Hessel, Allison Melody, and 12 students on the visual arts classic team to attend the overnight state VAC competition March 24th, 25th. This year, UW-Madison. Okay, you have the floor.
We are members of the Visual Arts Classic team. Some of the members of our team cannot be with us tonight, as we actually have 12 students on the team. I'm Francesca Germano, I'm in 11th grade, and I competed in fiber arts.
I am Alex Essen, I am in 12th grade, and I competed in drawing.
I'm Haley Figler, I'm a senior, and I competed in painting.
I'm Maria Wita, I'm a senior, and I competed in mixed media. We competed individually on February 23rd in Ashland by showing long-term projects and creating on-site projects in 2.5 hours.
In addition, as a team, we participated in a critical thinking competition and an art history quiz bowl. Individually, we earned first place awards with 11 of our long-term projects and 11 of our on-site projects. The remaining 2 projects earned second place. Our projects are on display in the showcase between the 2 art rooms, so please check those out when you have a chance. As a team, we won the quiz bowl competition as well as the critical thinking competition. As a team, we also won the regional championship for the 6th time in 10 years.
Each first place qualifies the project, student, and or team for the state meet. So the entire team has qualified to compete at state this year. This year's state meet is at UW-Madison on Monday, March 25th.
We would like to request your permission to spend the night of March 24th in Madison. We would leave the school at 12:30 p.m. Sunday, March 24th, and compete all day Monday the 25th, and return later that night. We would travel by school vans, and the overall cost would be right around $2,500 for a substitute teacher, hotel rooms, transportation, and meal money. Do you have any questions for us?
How many schools would qualify for the state competition?
60. There are 60 schools that compete in VAC, so there are 8 regionals around the state. So teams can win the regional. If they just win Quiz Bowl, then they also compete as a team at state for Quiz Bowl. So there's 8 full teams for sure that are competing, but kids from 60 teams statewide.
How has Northwestern's team fared in the past?
Pretty well. We've won state twice in the last 7 years or so. And if it came down to it this year, the 1 year was COVID years, so they took everyone's regional finishes and how they scored on everything, and we ended up winning by quite a few points with that. And if that were the case this year, if we couldn't have state, we would mop the floor with the competition. We pretty much got every point that you could get this year, so we have a pretty good group.
I was talking to one of the coaches of the teams, and they said that the quiz, we won by quite a bit. That's true.
So we have a long history of doing one quiz bowl. We've got some secret strategies.
So you're all seniors, have you competed before?
Yes.
Yes, this is my 3rd year competing.
You got a junior.
Yeah, here's just the junior.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
This is my 3rd year as well.
Okay.
This would be my first.
Okay.
This is my 3rd year.
Any other questions? We're gonna need a motion, a second, and a individual roll call. No roll call, okay.
I make a motion to approve the request.
Mr. Cowley, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Mr. Madweir, any other discussion? How many, are you the only adult going teacher going?
Actually, I am not going this year. Allison Melby is going, and Mr. Smith kindly volunteered to take my place. I have prior commitments.
I'm gonna coach a heck out of
We're gonna change to abstract art. That's how that goes.
Aerial pass.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Win big.
Leave them off the floor.
You do that after a lot of ceramics and stuff. So yeah.
Thank you. Item C is a request from Laura Johnson, FBLA advisor, and 8 students to attend the overnight state leadership conference and competition in Green Bay on April 7th through the 9th, 2024, and plan to attend the national conference in Orlando, Florida at the end of June if any members qualify. Here we go.
I'm Brandon Gross, I'm a senior. This is my second year doing FBLA, and last year I got to be in the finals, so very excited to come back this year. FBLA, for the Future Business Leaders of America, the club has 28 members this year. On Saturday, February 3rd, we traveled to Chippewa Falls High School for our regional competition this year. The competition consists of different presentations, different tests. Northwestern High School had 8 students qualify, and me and Noah being 2 of them. For this state leadership conference, it's going to be in Green Bay. The actual competition is from the 8th to the 9th. The students will be competing in the following events: business management, organizational leadership, UX design, introduction to event planning, introduction to business concepts, introduction to information technology. In addition to competing, we'll also be attending a special FBLA business presentation and tour at the remote.
I'm Noah Craig. I'm a senior, and this is my second year of doing FBLA. On behalf of the state qualifying FBLA students, we are requesting permission to travel to Green Bay on April 7th for our state leadership conference. We will return home on the evening of April 9th. In addition, we are requesting permission to attend the National FBLA Conference in Orlando, Florida at the end of June if anyone qualifies for this conference. That's all.
Okay, is there any questions? Did you individually go to state last year?
I did.
I did. I got into the finals last year.
Just for the record, I am a state champion and former state champion.
There you go.
Did anyone make it to nationals last year?
Yeah, well, they qualified, but we've actually had qualifiers almost every year. The issue is that the students, it's the end of June. And so if you have a junior or senior who qualifies, especially a senior, oftentimes they want to work because they need money to go to college because they've learned that in personal finance.
Future business.
Yes, yes. So, like DECA's during the school year, and also the problem is we come home on July 2nd or July 3rd. So that creates 2 issues. 1, a lot of families have plans over the 4th of July. 2, because it's a holiday, the airfare is so expensive. So that doesn't mean we won't go this year, but.
Okay, any other questions? No motion approved.
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion approved. Second?
Second.
We have second, Mr. Maddox. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck, guys.
Item D, a request from Misty Raddy, FCCLA advisor, and 4 students to attend the overnight state FCCLA competition and convention down in Green Bay on April 7th and 9th, 2024. At the same time?
There's an error in that. That's not correct. It's the 8th through the 10th, that's in Wisconsin.
Okay, 8th to the 10th. Okay.
Kalahari,
Yes.
No, we wouldn't want him to get mixed up with those business leaders. Okay. Yep.
Hello, my name is Olivia Upsall and I'm a sophomore. This is my first year competing in Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, or SCCLA. SCCLA is the national organization for all secondary school students participating in family and consumer science education programs. On Wednesday, February 21st, 2024, Northwestern SCCLA members traveled to UW Stout to compete at the SCCLA regional competition. Out of those 6, 4 members were awarded gold medals in their events. The other 2 were awarded the bronze medal. The members who were awarded the gold medal qualified for the state level competition.
Hello, my name is Lauren Buza. I'm a sophomore at Northwestern High School. This is my first year in SCCLA. We are here to ask the members of the school board, as well as our superintendent, Mr. Morin, to approve the funds to allow us to attend the state competition and leadership conference. It will be held on April 8th to the 10th at the Kalahari Resort in Wisconsin Dells. Events we are competing in are culinary creations and wild game fabrication. On behalf of all members of FCCLA, those of us competing, and our advisor, Ms. Raddick, thank you for your time and consideration. Any questions?
What was that last one you said about? Not the culinary one, but that one.
Wild game fabrication.
Yeah, can you elaborate on that?
We're not competing in it, but sure. So you can pick for example, our Larissa Sislo and Sarah Myshak competed in it, and they were partners. So they picked a deer, for example, and they picked they basically demonstrated all the meals you can make and using all the parts of the deer and going through how to make it with the least amount of waste.
That's what I wanted to.
So to elaborate on that, if I may, their smart goal for that was to educate young and up and coming hunters on how to utilize as much of our whitetail deer as possible. So they have a display and presentation to teach students, and they will be presenting to one of my foods classes and my skills for life class prior to the state competition about this, to show them here's how you can use each individual cut, and even discussing canning and dehydrating and such.
Outstanding.
You state champion with that one too?
No.
Yeah, just throw it on a pot.
Thank you.
So any other questions? Sounds good. Then we need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Kelly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Done.
Thank you so much.
Please take a picture with the giant elephant.
You're a random animal throw that I have my picture with. I haven't even stayed there in a
Okay, item E, start college now, early college credit program, all 24.
Okay, in your packet, you've got the list of students that are looking for the fall registration, start college now. As you recall, last month we did the summer school or the summer school courses. This would be for the fall of 24-25. So we're looking for your approval. What was it?
I said it's a tiny list.
It isn't.
Yeah. Need work.
I would assume the students have been already notified of the ones that they don't qualify for.
And then if we could know, it's because it's offered here.
Yeah.
Is that just making sure I remember that.
Usually they'll sit down with me and we'll talk about options, and if there's one that I think will get denied, I'll encourage them to pick another. So many of the kids are looking to take one class, but if they only write one now, then if it's full at UWS or at Northwood Tech, then they can't take it. So they'll usually list 3 or 4 just to make sure that they have something that they can get into.
Got it. So they might not take all 3 or 4.
Right.
These are most, some at Northwood Tech College and some at UW Superior.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve the college credit program.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second? Any other discussion? I think it's a roll call vote, because the school is paying for that unless they don't pass class. Correct. Okay, Mr. Landwehr,
Yes.
Mr. Lonnie,
Yes.
Mr. Cowley,
Yes.
Ms. Burnett.
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. Motion carries. Technical Excellence Scholarship Recommendation.
Yeah, the technical education scholarship is awarded to a student from Northwestern High School who plans to attend Wisconsin Technical College. The applicants are ranked on a point system according to school board policy. Applicants earn 1 point for every credit earned in the CTE courses they have completed, and 1 point in every year they have participated in the CTSO club. This tech scholarship requires board approval. Paul Browning? Browning. Has been selected as the Technical Excellence Scholarship winner. He is the son of Paul and Diane Browning.
You are not finished.
I'm getting finished. I'm not finished. Sorry, apologies.
Pronounce every vowel.
Paul has been admitted to Northwood Technical College to pursue a degree in criminal justice studies with the goal of becoming a police officer. Paul has been very active in Northwestern's technical education department. He has been a key member to the Tiger Manufacturing and worked on the house and building construction. Paul has also served as a student leader in Mr. Charlier and Mr. W.T. class this year. The technical education scholarship is worth $2,250 per year for 2 years and will cover half of the cost of Paul's education. Paul is a very hard worker in the classroom and has earned a 3.764 GPA. He is also a member of the cross-country team and a member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We feel strongly that he will represent NHS very well in his future endeavors. We are looking for our recommendations to approve this, so we're looking for your approval.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations to him. Do we have a motion to approve this?
I will make a motion to approve technical excellence scholarship recommendation of Mr. Paul Rowe.
That makes so much sense.
Is
there a second?
Round.
Okay, is there any other questions regarding Mr. Romeo's scholarship recommendation? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, Rettler Incorporated bid compilation and bid approval for the turf replacement project.
Yeah, I am going to turn things over to Mr. Truscott and let him through. Yeah.
So, Ross Rettler is joining us via the virtual world. So, good evening there, Ross. So, we work closely with Ross, our Rettler Corporation, to walk us through this process. As we've talked about in the past, probably 2 years. The turf football field has reached its functional end life and hopefully needs to be addressed. So we received 5 bids from 5 reputable turf companies throughout the United States. And Rettler has had relationships with all of them in the past. In terms of costing, 2 vendors came in at the low price point. Sprint Turf was one, and then Midwest Sports and Turf Systems was the other. Those bids were within basically $1,000 of each other. But Midwest Sports Turf Systems, as part of their bid, offered colored end zones and colored sideline player boxes at no additional cost. As I talked about in my board enhancement, this addition is not something that, of according to Rattler, we see very often at home. If ever, Ross, if you could agree with me on that one.
Absolutely. I think as you look at the bids that we received, there were two different options that we talked with Cody and your steering committee. The first option was for a blend product. This was a blend of monofilament and slick film. And you get an alternate bid for including a shock pad under that system as well. And as you look at the options that the turf vendors typically provide as a voluntary alternate, I've never actually seen a company come forward and say, hey, we'll give you colored end zones and colored players boxes at no additional cost, which is a pretty good value add item, I believe, for the school district. So that was exciting to see, something we very, very seldom or if that understand.
So walking through it, our recommendation would be to go with Midwest Sports and Turf Systems, a bid at $450,547. In addition to, this is really kudos to Mr. Moore and Mr. Smith. They've really reached out to a number of different private entities to try to help offset the cost. So we're still actively engaged in that work, but as of today, this is roughly 2/3 funded. Private donations. The intent that we believe will continue to do that. Our goal is to make this as privately funded as possible. So our recommendation is to approve Midwest to be the vendor for turf replacement. Should the board accept that or approve that, the next steps, myself, Mr. Moore, and Mr. Smith, we work with Ross Rattler to start working on construction timelines and try to get this project done as quickly as we can, so it's available for our students as fast as we possibly can get it to be available. So, questions?
What's the reasoning behind the 5% contingency being maintained on this project? What's that for?
You want to take that one, Ross? Did you hear that? Okay.
Great question. So every time that we're working on projects, there's always a scenario where there could be an unseen condition or unforeseen condition as part of projects. So we always recommend some contingency be held for the project, and that's really standard on any of the projects that the corporation does. So 5% contingency, I would say it's a little bit less than what we typically include. I think we're very comfortable with what's out there and understanding what was constructed as part of the first phase of work. The corporation had worked with you guys on that project, and I don't foresee any big unforeseen things that come up, but we always just like to have a bit of a contingency in case something were to arise. So I think another thing that we did include as part of the bid, just so that people understand, is with the new turf system, the curb anchorage that all the turf gets fastened to. Now, back when you guys constructed that facility originally, we used a pressure treated 2x4, and what we've included in your bid as well is to replace that pressure treated 2x4 with a new composite 2x4 that we believe will last as long as the track holds up good. They really mentioned last at least 2 more cycles. So,
more like a transport composite.
So is there I guess when I see the term bid, I always look at that as fixed because I don't ever get to go back on my bid, but apparently they can. So is there a specific, I assume there's a contract that's written and that's specifically saying that these items are included under my bid and these items are not included under my bid?
Yes, very good question. So as we put together the procurement package in the bid form for this project, there's all unit pricing for lineal feet of 2x4, square footage of turf. All of those things are clearly defined in the bid documents. So at this point, no, I don't foresee, to be honest, I don't foresee anything arising. It's very clear as part of the contract document, the bid document, exactly what they need to do. So.
Okay. So the recommendation does not include the shock pad.
At this point in time, no. Either place that our goal is to try to privately fund this as much as feasibly possible.
And it does not include a center logo.
It does include a center logo.
It does include the center logo.
Yes. Okay, so the center logo and colored end zones and colored player boxes and sidelines.
Not to put you on the spot, you don't have to have a picture of it, do you? Like,
Not right on this computer, but we will shortly.
is it the right yellow?
That's important.
Trust me, it'll look better than Mizzou's.
It'll be the right tiger.
I'm not getting involved in our work. What's that, Ross? Go ahead. I think if you share.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Yeah, if you want to share, I believe you have rights to share your screen. So I don't think I'll block right there.
Let's see here. So that is what I'm presenting. There we go. You see that?
That's a green end zone.
There we go. So the general idea, guys, is yes, part of the document, you just have your standard Tiger logo in there. And what they are providing as part of that voluntary alternate is that these players' boxes, both east and west sides of your field, will be black. And then obviously your end zones will be black. We had put together some options as part of the initial conceptual plan for it. And the only difference here is that you have the white border as part of the plan. You have a white border that goes around the entire perimeter of the field in the press restraint area, we call it. And then, with adding black to the coaches and teams area, it'd be something more like this option right here. So the black and yellow, your logo with the black ends is something I would look at that would look really sharp. Then also, I don't know if we talked about it, but they also provided us a voluntary alternate at $1,400 per letter if you were to add that end zone text in as well. So that's another thing that could potentially be considered. So
That's something that we'll look at. So right now it's colored end zones. The other is something that we're working hard to try to work with our private business partnerships. So.
Do you like that if you sponsor a letter?
We're open to all kinds of ideas right now.
Hey,
It's a NASCAR field, folks.
It's whatever you want. Where all U.S. money currency is green. That's all that matters.
I have a question. Is this a different company that did the original church?
Yes, I don't even know the original company, if they still exist. Do you know, Ross?
I think back then, guys, it was one of two products. It was either Mondo, who was putting like kefir, or it was Progress.
No, the first one is right.
Mondo's still a product that's out there. Progress is no longer around. But no, it's different than what was installed originally. And the product that you have treated is a bit different in that this is a blend. It's a blend of monofilament and slip film fiber. The slip film adds the component of durability, where the monofilament also is something that if you look at soccer specifically, they like the monofilament from the ball roll standpoint. So the majority of our fields now are going to that blend material, which is a blend of both. So.
And Ross, Midwest is out of Menominee Falls, correct?
Midwest is actually down, the corner is down in Spring Green, around the Spring Green area, but they do work, a ton of work in Wisconsin and Illinois. As part of their bid, and I did share this with Cody as well, a lot of projects within the last 10 years here in the state of Wisconsin. So this last summer, we had the opportunity to work with them on quite a few projects. So I have nothing but faith in their capabilities of getting there and getting the job done. I think it's a good group. So
Yeah, from superintendent's aspect across the state, this is a very good company. They do a lot of fields across the state. They're very people are really happy with that with the product they put in the fields.
What kind of warranty is purchased with this?
You want to talk through that, Ross? If it's 8 years, correct?
Parts and labor?
Yes. Yeah. So the way we set it up, guys, the standard product warranty for synthetic turf is around 8 years across the board with all the different vendors. But we also require not only the standard product warranty from the company, we also require a third-party insured warranty for 8 years. Just looking at the turf industry as a whole, companies change hands over time, and companies have been dissolved over time. But we like to have that third-party insured warranty as well to make sure that we have you're doubling up essentially every 2 8 years.
Is that a 100% warranty for 8 years, or is it depreciated out over 8 years?
Not depreciate, no, it's a warranty for all, any and all defects. And there's real specific things in that warranty with regards to, the items that they insure or that they warranty. But I will tell you, and working with different vendors, whether it be Midwest or Sprinter, Midwest is very, very good about going back and fixing things that they need to. So, yeah, I have not had issues. I can tell you in all the fields that we've done over the last couple of years here, we don't have issues with guys going back and fixing things that they need to. So,
the rep, our area rep is from Menominee Falls. Oh, that's the guy, Ryan Anderson, his name is. He's the rep that I'm familiar with. He's from Menominee Falls, so he's in the state. And then to answer another question, it was a Mondo turf by Kiefer. What we have now. Like that, it's a Mondo turf by Kiefer.
Mondo turf, and that did last us 16 seasons.
We got a life out of it. We're more than happy on that. So,
well, I don't know if the last 16
got everything we could out of it.
Are there any other questions? Board?
For the fundraising part of it, is there somewhere, I've been asked 3 times, like, people like to see, like, we're at 60%?
We have not made that, like that thermometer.
Yeah, people are just like, oh, they're almost there.
It's something that I've, had in my mind to do. And we can probably do that moving forward. It's just, we had a lot of stuff going on here last month before spring break. But we can probably put something together to show people where we're at.
And do we have a rough timeline?
Our construction timeline, we were looking at least the Monday after Memorial Day, all the way to August 1st. So our goal is to have that come in as soon as possible to get this rolling. I think, Ross, you can speak to this. I think we kind of look at about a 2 to 3 week construction timeline. Would that be about appropriate?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits to your guys' project is that the contract dates that were provided as part of the bid gives them all of June and July to do the project. The majority of all these projects that everybody wanted to be on their fields throughout the summer start probably late June, early July, which only gives people about a month. And what's nice with your schedule is I can see them potentially starting earlier, and that's something I talked about with Cody today is, if the district was forward, we want to get a firm date from Midwest on when they would start the project. But typically with the removal, so they're removing and disposing of the old turf, and then they're installing the new turf. I would say that it's 2 or 3 days to remove the turf, and then 2 weeks or so. So it's maybe a 3-week process for them all in.
Is there any value to the existing turf?
Do you hear that, Ross?
No.
Any value to the existing turf? Sentimental value.
The only thing about that is that if you're taking turf and giving it to others, you always just want to, it's not a big liability thing, but we want to have some type of waiver or release on that turf if you were going to give it to somebody else. The big thing about that removal process is that if people aren't taking it, it's being disposed of, right? So if people are going to come and take it, turf company don't want to have to pay for transporting it to different locations. So the only thing I've done in the past on different projects is we've worked with others to coordinate getting trucks there it's very heavy. Once the turf is removed and rolled up, it has all the infill in it still. So it is a very heavy product at that point. So it's more of a coordination thing. No, there is no value to that turf.
Is there a contingency in the event that they don't get it done during the contracted time?
Yes, there is. There are liquidated damages associated with
We try to make sure we
the
protect our.
$750 or $1,000 a day.
I think it's $1,000 a day in there. So,
This is the same company that's doing our slate.
different company. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll need a motion and a roll call.
Thank you for your work.
Appreciate everybody's help on it.
Okay, we need a motion for approval of the recommendation.
I make a motion that we approve the football field recommendation.
Midwest sport. Except Midwest Sport Church. Okay, we have a motion, is there a second? Second. Is there a second from Mr. Riley? And we have a roll call vote, Mr. Landler,
Yes.
Mr. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Cowley,
Yes.
Mr. Burnett. And I vote yes. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Ross. We'll be in touch. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Ross.
I think you have it. Okay.
The hardware.
Administrative report, Mr. Moore, starting with A.
All right. Get back here. So, just a thank you for the memorial sent from the Janko family, Scott's mother's and Peggy's mother-in-law. They would really appreciate the well wishes there for the family. Peggy is the other, is this one, the next one?
Yeah, you can read that.
So we also got one for the school board candidate forum. So far, Mr. Everhart is going to put on a forum for us coming up. So far, I've reached out to the candidates to invite them to participate and have secured the auditorium to talk with students to make sure that we have everything ready and a plan in place to make it happen. I've heard from one of the candidates and expect to hear from the others later this evening, and if I do not, I will reach out to them by phone. The date they are set for this is March 26th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. A couple of the students will be helping are in spring sports. They wanted to give them time to get done with practicing and get ready for the event. So just wanted to thank Mr. Everhart for putting this on and his kids again.
What date did you say?
March 26th.
Can you also clarify that it's actually a class and the kids that are doing it,
Yes.
not the school?
Yeah, it's not the school doing it. It's it's like the government class. Kids that used to be in the government class. They're putting it on.
That's a Tuesday, that's a week from tomorrow.
Yes, it is. It is 7 o'clock and it'll end at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, 12 hours off
Okay,
today.
any other communications?
I do not believe so.
Okay, item 7B, maintenance update. Mr. Patrick.
You have the monthly maintenance report, pretty standard stuff in most of our buildings. Our high school here, as I continue to tell people, this is not a brand new building. Some of our air handler motors, which are very big motors, electrical motors that run those things, we're starting to see some failure just because of the original motors are 15, 16 years old. We'll address those as they pop up, but we have 17 air handling units in this building, so I anticipate one time replacements in all of them. So general, otherwise everywhere else.
And we did get the report. The other school as well. Item C, update on the critical mapping grant.
Yeah, this is just a more or less an FYI for the board members. Those of you who have been on the board for a little while, approximately a year and a half ago-ish, I wrote a grant. I should say we, Dr. Coney, myself at the time, wrote a grant that worked with the company to come in and map our buildings. The intent of this grant is to make sure that those building maps are shared with any of the first responders in the event that we have an emergency. So the group came in, they've done the work, we have our maps approved. The kind of final step that we're looking at is trying to get together with all of our emergency response teams to make sure that that is shared. And the group will work with them to make sure that if there is a call, they can push that out to their squads and everything else like that, the event that we have. So just an FYI that this project's kind of coming to an end. Those maps will get shared within our buildings. They are very well done. I can share them with the board at the next board meeting if you want to actually see that. But in the name of safety, it'll be a nice addition to
what we have.
Excellent.
Item D, April 2nd, 2024 school board election.
So, as you see in your packet, the ballot is set and ready to go. It was the official ballots there with Chris Schultz, Steve Probst, and Adam Lambert. So, looking for two of the three.
Okay. Item E, WASB correspondence of legislative report. Mr. Olson is unable to be here this evening, so we. Oh, you have that?
Yeah.
WSB?
She asked me to read stuff. All right, the Joint Finance Committee approves the four early literacy recommended by the council. They are core, knowledge, language, arts, K-3, REL, education, language arts, wit and wisdom, with pre-K-3 reading, bookworms, reading and writing, K-3. Schools are not required to use one of these four recommendations, but there is an opportunity to have some of the costs reimbursed by the state if the school decides to choose one from the list. The DPI recently proposed changes to the school start rule that governs the start date waivers. The goal behind this is to provide clear guidance and additional flexibility for school districts when applying for the waiver. The proposed rule provides more flexibility for school boards when seeking to adjust their school calendars to better meet the academic and local needs of their respective districts. Currently, the school boards are significantly limited in requesting an exemption to the school start date.
Thank you. And item F is a CISA 12 report of Mr. Lund.
Okay, from the last month's meeting, we had a audit report was shared with us, and everything was good at CISA 12. Administrative report was CISA 12 will be hosting a leadership retreat in June for the district leadership teams. 2 days in June, effective management, data use, promoting student achievement. Washburn has selected their new district administrator, Denise Michelson. And the board retreat, which is on May 2nd for us at the Steakhouse Lodge in Hayward. It will focus on school board role and student behavior.
What's the date on that?
May 2nd.
May 2nd.
I can't remember the time, it's 5 o'clock, so whatever.
It'll be in your April packet.
Yes.
And Washington got a good superintendent. He's a former friend of mine from Washington. And she was pretty good. She really
Good. And we have a meeting at in Ashland tomorrow.
Thank you. Item G, donations, Mr. Moore.
Yep, we had a new one that was added today. We got a $12,000 donation from Ron Mackey, former student. He's requesting that $10,000 of it be used for the purchase of equipment that Mr. Charlier feels will be best served for his students in the wonderful tech ed program at NHS. The other $2,000 is in the memorial of Mr. Don Olson, who was his shop teacher, which he attended here. He stated Mr. Olson had a great impact on him and in his adult life. So we thank Mr. Mackey for that generous donation. We also have the Blue River Line question. The Blue River Lions Club has donated $500 to the early childhood program at NES. St. Michael's Church ladies have donated hats, gloves, and mittens to the students at the Iron River Elementary School, and the Mission Company Church has donated several big boxes of food and fresh produce for the students' use, as well as 4 new student jackets. Thank you so much for all the generous donations from the groups across our district.
They'll all get a letter from the school.
Yes, they will.
Thank you. That's great. That's awesome. Item H, reports from Northwestern High School, Northwestern Middle School, Northwestern Elementary, Iron River Elementary Schools, Athletic Director, Activities Director, Director of Special Education, Student, and okay. And we did receive those. Is there any comments or questions? I appreciate the information. See how busy you folks are. Amazing. It's every night somewhere for the school. So very much appreciated. Any comments from the principals, head director? Said it all in the right. Thank you very much. Now, and the student board representatives, your time is done.
Hello again, school board. Today I'll be discussing the end of the winter sports, start of spring sports, as well as some students that have excelled a lot. Basketball, first off, the boys and girls basketball teams all ended their seasons a couple weeks ago. The girls fell to the Blue Black late February, and the guys lost to Somerset in a double overtime buzzer beater. I don't know if any of you watched that game, but it was tough to watch. But yeah, but both teams had excellent seasons and represented our school well, so congratulations to them. Wrestling, Ivan Woodhull, Adeline Fuller, and the Division II state champion Ian Smith all wrestled in the WIAA state competition back in February 22nd to the 24th. As you probably know, Ian Smith became a state champion for the second time in a row, winning back-to-back state competitions, one in the 195 weight bracket, and this year in the 215 weight bracket. Congratulations to everyone who competed in wrestling this year, especially those who competed and did so well at state. Special shout out to Morgan Martins, who competed in the junior Iditarod on February 24th. He placed second out of 22 racers, just 30 minutes behind the lead dog sled runner, who, according to Morgan, was racing a team of dogs that had beaten an Iditarod champion. And a little inside scoop, I'm good friends with Morgan. So he told me on the last leg of the race, he was gaining on her and was within 7 minutes of passing her. But one of his dogs put on him, and he dropped back down to 30 minutes. But it's remarkable that he's even able to compete so well with these people that have these crazy dogs. So huge congratulations. So at the end of our winter sports, or as spring sports are just around the corner, baseball has begun practicing and will compete at the Woodside Sports Complex in just 2 weeks. Softball has also begun practicing, and they will begin playing their games starting in April. Track and field started practicing shortly before spring break, in preparation for their first meet, which is in Ashland tomorrow at 4. They will also be hosting their own meet next Thursday at 4 p.m. So make sure you come out.
And that's at UWS.
Is it? I think it's.
No, yeah, it's at UWS.
Is that UWS?
Yeah, we're not running outside next Thursday.
Yeah. So yes, it will be at UWS. So make sure you go watch that.
UWS, 16 teams,
Yeah.
16 schools.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. And then as golf is hoping to get out practice next week if the weather holds, but yeah, so far not too much for the golf. I'll be done. Let's see what happens.
Today I've got a little bit to add on. We had some lovely people from the different clubs here tonight, but there's a lot more going on outside of competitions and different things like that. DECA traveled to their state competition at the end of February, where senior Josie Kreuzer qualified for the DECA International competition. That will be in California, I believe end of next month or early May. I'm not sure on the date. She's the only one that qualified, but it's really difficult to qualify, so it's really amazing. We heard from our club earlier, and we have not won the regional competition in a few years, so it was nice to be able to take back first place from Ashland. And at the beginning of February, FFA took 4 students to Shell Lake to compete in their leadership development competitions. And over break, they went to Bloomer to compete at sectionals. FFA also hosted their annual teacher breakfast the Friday before break, and all the teachers who were here were able to come down and get some breakfast. It's usually during FFA week. There was some conflict, so we pushed it back a little bit, and everyone was able to attend then. Tomorrow, Quiz will be attending their end of the year tournament in Ashland. They've been competing after school in the fall and winter, and this is the end of the year tournament. They took first place last year in the tournament, so hoping to get another first place win. We heard a little bit from FBLA, and they headed up to they were at their state competition in February, and they even only 8 people qualified for state. There were a lot of people that did really good jobs. I know a lot of people who had joined for the first year. They're really excited about being able to compete. And you guys are going to touch on the band stuff, so I don't want to take away too much from that. But along with that, the choir also had a competition before break, and I know they did exceptionally well. They received really good scores. And then the very first weekend in April, both the band and choirs will have solos and small groups that will perform in their solo and ensemble competition, and they're looking to qualify for state of that competition. That's all I have for you guys.
Mr. Moore, item student, staff, and community.
All right. So, so we do want to recognize, first off, Ian Smith for winning not his first but his second state championship in a row. It's a accomplishment to get to Madison for the state meet. It's special when you win one, but when you win multiple state titles, that's a very special thing. And when you win, it's kind of a thing when some people have been able to win 4. Every year they were there, you get the whole center stands up. There's some standing ovation. It's really cool. But I was there for Ian's matches, and he, especially the championship match, he dominated just from the get-go. So congratulations to him. And Morgan Martins. I actually, when I found out he placed second in the Iditarod, I went and found him, and I sat down and just talked to him for about 10 minutes about that whole race. It's amazing when you watch the Iditarod, with the adults in it, you hear about it, but when you have kids do it in the junior, and then it's one of your students, and you lived it, it's really kind of special. It really is. I mean, it's just fascinating what he has to do to take care of the dogs and even to train for that. And he was telling me about the whole piece about training to get ready and then getting up there early for the meet or the race and everything. It's just I was just and he had so much love for that, passion for that, doing that. It's just kind of amazing. So I thought that was really cool.
When you talking, it's a good example of talking to kids like this. Both me and Morgan, they have the mindset of a champion. They put the work in, they train for it, they want to always be the best. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is.
I want to ask one question here. Were you in Alaska?
No. Just for the rest of there's only so much my car can do. But hey, if we can.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
I would never. Yeah, you never know. There's always things, right? You get to see. All the Northwestern middle and high school students who participated in the all-conference band and honors bands and honors bands in the 2023-24 school year. That was attached to the agenda. And then the Northwestern High School concert band also received a rating of number 1 on a scale of 1 through 4 from all 3 judges for a composite score of 1, which is excellent. This is the highest rating an ensemble can receive. So congratulations to all of our students who participated in that, and our individual students who raced that, and to all of our athletes, because the winter sports season really was a great success for our boys and girls all the way across the board. So it was a fun year. I would also like to just thank our coaches who coach the season. I always like to sit behind the coaches because I like to listen to what they during the games to see what they say during timeouts and strategies, and even I got to a couple wrestling matches and that, and talk with the coaches and how they do that, because I'm a basketball guy, not a wrestler. And we got good coaches here. We do. We really do. They know the game. They've got great relationships with the kids, and they have a passion for it. And it's not easy to coach these days. And I coached, Dan's coached for a lot of years, and you're never going to make everybody happy. But you have to stay the course and do what you feel is best for your program. And they're involved, and we have great feeder programs to help those programs. So, and they're involved with those feeder programs, and that's what I like to see, really running the program. So hats off to our varsity coaches and their assistants for a season well done.
And I think it's chosen our advisors too.
Yeah.
Requests that we have, outstanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then transition quickly because I put my head in the softball and you see some more dance line members practicing softball. So we're on to the next project. Okay, now it's time for item 8, comments from the audience. Now that we have concluded the business of the board, we will end the live stream. The comments from